Hi, welcome to this week's Word for Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about Christian community a bit and the importance of Christian community. Uh, I was reading an article earlier this week about, and I'm sure many of you have heard about these situations of orphanages in the Eastern Europe, former Soviet communist countries, and these orphanages that were overcrowded with children. And they went in and observed many of these orphanages. And they found that the children here were given adequate needs, given enough to eat, given enough to eat, given a clean clothes, a warm place to sleep, given exercise. But because there were so many children and not enough people, not enough adult workers in this orphanage, these orphanages, they found the problem that these children weren't being emotionally supported or emotionally, not given adequate love or affection. And what they found was, despite having all of their physical needs met, these children were not flourishing because they weren't receiving love and affection that children under normal circumstances should receive from families, be they natural born families or stand in families through adoption or other such things. These children just were not flourishing the way that they should or would be wanted to. And that reminds me of a big problem we have in Christianity. America, it seems by the day, is becoming a less Christian nation. So much so that recent polling suggests that for the first time in American history, less than half of all Americans report that they belong to or are members of or regularly attend a church or some other institution of worship. Less than half. Now, that would be a big problem in itself. But I would ask, of that, a little less than half of those that do report belonging to a church or some other religious institution, how many of them actually attend on a semi regular basis, not even a regular basis, but maybe twice a month, if not every week? And now that number, which was already less than half, is suddenly going a whole lot lower. People just aren't attending churches anymore. And for those that don't report being Christian, yeah, that's fine. That's expected. You don't expect people who don't believe in Christianity, you don't expect them to go to church. But of those who do report that they are a Christian, many of them don't even go to church. And in today's society, they may say, I don't need to go to church because I can get on YouTube and watch preachers there. I can get DVDs and watch them on TV at home. I can listen to preachers on the radio. There's all different ways I can receive spiritual instruction and spiritual nourishment just by being at home. And yet, that is true to a certain extent. But I would say spiritually, a Christian who does not attend church and receive the love and support that comes with a Christian community is a lot like those children who grow up in those orphanages and may receive all their physical needs, but they still don't flourish because they're not getting the community and the support and the love that they get from that. The New Testament doesn't really anywhere address Christians who are doing Christianity apart from the community, because that is a concept that's completely foreign to the New Testament. In the New Testament, if you're a Christian, then you should be part of a community. Not only because you'll receive your basic Christian instructions and basic Christian nourishment through that, but you'll also receive the love and support that comes with the community. And you cannot thrive as a Christian without that love and support that comes from that community. And unfortunately, we live in a world where there's a lot of deception, and those who are Christian but don't attend church may be deceived into thinking I'm doing just fine the way I am. But that may be because you're getting confused about what it means to be a thriving Christian. And being away from the community of Christianity can lead to that deception, I believe. I'm reminded of what Jesus said, and I'm reading from John chapter 13, 35. By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. If you have love for one another. It doesn't say just love in general, although we should have love in general for all of humanity. But he says there specifically love for one another. The world will know we are his disciples if we as Christians have love for other Christians, and that can only happen in community. And Christians who go about thinking that they can do it on their own without being part of a church are mistaken. Can you still be a Christian without going to church? Yeah, absolutely. But you can still be a Christian without going to church in much the same way. A zebra can still be a zebra without being with the herd of other zebras. He's still a zebra out there, but he's on his own. He's more vulnerable to attacks from the lions and other predators. And Christians can still be Christians away from community, but they're on their own and will be more vulnerable to attacks from predators against Christianity. That's our word for Wednesday. Thanks for joining me. This is a ministry of Lakefield Baptist Church. If you live in the area of Newberry, Michigan, in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, you're welcome to join us here at Lakefield Baptist Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock. Thank you, and I'll see you later.